Hi everyone, I'm Kristi Mitchell, and I'm going to be presenting today on a simple framework for creating your marketing plan for wave season. So a little bit about me, I'm a marketing strategist. I work with established business owners who are hardworking and motivated action takers. They're really looking to take their business to the next level. So typically my clients have relied on referrals and word of mouth to get to where they are. And they know in order to take their business to that next level, they need to finally get serious about their marketing. So maybe they've been doing a little bit of marketing here or there, sporadically and consistently. I really jump in and help them kind of evaluate the efforts that they've done and really get more strategic on that. I like looking at data and content and using that information to help feed those recommendations that I make for my clients. I have over 10 years of corporate experience. I have an MBA and really a passion for helping small business owners because I am one. I always say I would hate for marketing to be the thing that got in the way of a small business owner being able to successfully run their own business. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to jump right into the content. So when you don't know the difference between a marketing strategy and a marketing tactic, you might feel like this little girl. Marketing has a tendency to feel really overwhelming and confusing for business owners. That's okay. If that's how you've been feeling about marketing, my goal is to kind of change that relationship or mindset around marketing just a little bit. So I like to bring structure and strategy to this. I have a framework that I call the marketing funnel framework. If you've heard of marketing funnels before, this may sound a little familiar, or you may say, wow, this is not what I thought a marketing funnel is at all. So I approach it a little bit differently than how many people are accustomed to learning about marketing funnels. I like using the funnel framework to really give us that structure to follow so that we know at the end of the day, we have a cohesive marketing plan. So it all starts at the top of the funnel where we talk about attracting people. That's getting out in front of new people through things like SEO, published articles, networking, social media. I'm going to go into this more, but it's really attracting people. Getting in front of people is the top of the funnel. It's not enough for people to just know about you. You want them to take a next step, which is that conversion piece, that next step. It's converting visitors to become leads for you by filling out a form. So now you have their name and email address so that you can get to this middle part of the funnel here, the nurture section. You want to stay in touch with people over time because chances are the first time I hear about you, they may not be ready to work with you. They may not be ready for what you offer. So you need to nurture them. You have to have systems and processes in place to be able to stay in touch with them over time. And then up at the bottom of the funnel, that's closing the deal, which is making the sale when the timing is right. I always say I'm not a sales coach, but I like to just think of what we can be doing in our marketing all along the way to make closing that deal a little bit easier at the end of the day. So I'm going to jump into each of those sections in more detail, but first I just kind of want to lay the framework here. If you've ever heard of the term throwing spaghetti at the wall to describe marketing efforts, you are not alone. It's very common. Throwing spaghetti at the wall means we're trying a bunch of different things. There's not really a strategy or plan in place. We're just kind of trying things. So maybe we're throwing things on social media. Maybe we're doing some email campaigns here or there. Maybe we have a website, but we don't have a keyword strategy. We're kind of doing different things, which is better than doing nothing at all. But the goal today is to really show you how to create that overarching strategy, which gives you those detailed plans, which is going to help you reach your goals. So we're bringing some strategy and structure to all of this. So what I would like you to do is pull out a piece of paper, whether you take notes digitally or hard copy. And as I go through this funnel framework, I want you to be taking notes so that you are getting clear on what you're doing at each of these 4 stages of the funnel and what you can be doing going forward to really amplify those efforts that you have going for your marketing plan. So again, at the top of the funnel, we're talking about attracting. This is helping new people learn about what you do and what you offer. You can do this in a number of ways. So you can do this through SEO, which is search engine optimization. That means when somebody types something into Google for a search, they arrive at you as the result because of what they searched for. So SEO involves keyword research. It involves keyword strategy and planning. It feeds into a blog on your website. All of those I kind of lump them all together into one bullet point. So that's one way people can find you. Social media is another way. So if you are on the platforms where your audience is hanging out and you are getting in front of new people, then you're using social media to help attract new people to you. You can also do this through things like publishing articles in industry magazines or guest blogging for another person who might be in a related field but offer slightly different services than what you offer. Publishing articles is a way to get in front of new people. Networking is another way. Any small business owner out there that I've met has some degree of networking in their kind of marketing plan. So networking is a way to attract people, to get new people to know about you. Advertising, you can always pay to play. It's never my first choice. I always like to talk about building those organic foundations with my clients before we jump to something like paid advertising, but it is an option. Podcasting is another way, whether you host your own podcast or maybe you're getting interviewed on other people's podcasts. It's a way to expand your reach and get in front of new people. Presentations or masterclasses or webinars or whatever you want to call them, those can be a great way, again, to get out in front of new people and help them learn about who you are and what you offer. So please take a moment and jot notes for the attract section of the funnel. What are you currently doing? And maybe some ideas you have for things you want to tackle in the future. Next, we're going to move on. So what now? Right? This little girl. All right. So I have these things, the attract phase, the top of my funnel, and getting out in front of new people. Great. But now what do I do? That's not enough. When we talk about marketing, we talk about building the know, like, and trust factor. So knowing is at the top, that attract phase. The next part is building the like factor. You want people to like you enough to fill out a form. So you want to compel visitors to become leads for you. They're not going to do that if they don't know you and have some level of a like for you. So how are you going to compel people to convert and become a lead for you now, to be able to give you their name and email address in exchange for something of value? So this can be done through things like webinars. Again, people have to register. You have to sign up and give your name and email address to be able to log into the webinar. So that's a way that you can convert people and get their names on your list. Downloadable guides, ebooks, white papers. Some people call them freebies. Some people call them lead magnets. Whatever it is, it's a piece of content that's in exchange for a name and email address. You don't have to buy it. It's just a lead magnet. It's just exchanging of information. So that is one way to convert people and get them to become leads for you. Virtual coffee chats. I think that this is a very, very underutilized tool as a lead, an opportunity to capture leads. So if you are meeting with people virtually, or maybe you're meeting them in person or on the phone, there's an opportunity, especially if you're doing virtual coffee chats and using a scheduling tool like Calendly or Acuity or one of those, where you could add a question to your form that says, hey, would you like to be added to my email list so that you receive my latest updates every month? Yes or no? And if they say yes, they go onto your email list. Which is going to feed into the next part of the funnel that we're going to talk about in the next section, to the nurture phase. But that's a great opportunity, right? If someone is taking the time to book a meeting with you, they're filling out a form already, just add another question. Ask them if they want to get added to your email list. I will tell you, for me personally, 9 times out of 10, people say yes. The next part, the next idea that I have here, again, paid advertisements is always an option. It's never my first go-to, never the first recommendation I make, but especially if you have one of those lead magnets, you could pay to promote it on a social media platform with a low budget. That is an option you can pay. So take a moment right now on your piece of paper, your note sheet, to write convert and jot some notes about what you're currently doing and what maybe you need to be doing going forward. I will tell you, this is the area of the funnel that I see the biggest gaps. Typically, this is the area where the majority of my clients have nothing going on, and they've been kind of racking their brain or maybe pounding their head on their desk saying, why am I not getting more clients? And usually it ends up coming back to the fact that they're doing a lot at the attract phase, but from attract, they're not giving people a chance to convert and become a lead. So I would like you to think hard about that as it applies to your business. And then we need to do something else, right? It's not enough to just attract them. Now they know about us. Now they like us enough to convert and give us their name and email address. We don't want to miss this next key opportunity. We have to nurture people. This is staying in touch with people over time. This is where we're building that trust factor. When I say know, like, and trust, nurture is your opportunity to get people to trust you. So you want to provide value to them. You want to give them helpful, relevant content that solves problems for them. And there's typically 2 main ways to do this that I work with my clients on. It's email marketing and social media. Now you may say, wait a minute, you told me social media was at the top of the funnel of the attract phase. I did. I also think it plays a very key role at the nurture phase as well. Social media does help you get in front of new people, and it also helps you stay in touch with people over time, because if people are following you and interacting with your content, they're going to keep seeing it. So as long as you're posting on a consistent basis, they're going to be seeing your content showing up. Direct messaging is another way you could be using social media to nurture people, right? Start conversations with people, get in the DMs, establish those relationships with people, continue conversation. It's really important. Kind of jumped ahead of myself here. So I covered social media. Going back up to email marketing, it's another great way to stay in touch with people. So I have a few ideas here. The first thing I have is an onboarding sequence. This means when someone downloads that lead magnet that you offered them, now they're going to get a drip campaign or an automated series of emails where they get to learn more about you and what you do and how you work with clients and other resources that you may have. So I'll tell you, for example, my onboarding sequence shares a blog post as a resource for people. It also shares a podcast interview that I've been on. And then I think my third email tells a little story about myself and then gives them that opportunity to book a call with me. So again, it's this automated way to nurture people over time so that you don't just give them what they downloaded and then they never hear from you again. The next piece under email marketing is a newsletter, or whatever it ends up being, some sort of consistent content that you can be sharing on a monthly basis. I send a monthly newsletter. It's chock full of resources and good stuff and a little bit of sales information, right? About maybe an offer that I have coming up or a new program I'm starting. But it's mostly helpful, relevant content that solves problems for my audience. And when you do that, it gives you, when you consistently provide value through your content, when you do that, it gives you the opportunity to also promote yourself. So I talk about the 80-20 rule when it comes to content. 80% of your content should be helpful and relevant and solve problems. 20% of your content can be that more salesy content. So I say that you earn the right to send a one-off email about this special or this offer that you have if you've been doing that other email marketing along the way to provide value to your audience. You don't want to just be sending sales emails all the time, because that's when people are going to unsubscribe. So take a moment now to jot some notes on what you're doing at the nurture section and what you want to be doing going forward. All right, show me the money. All right, I say this kind of jokingly, but really at the end of the day, we're probably all looking to get more clients, right? That's why we're concerned about marketing. That's why we want to really up our game with our marketing efforts. So this is where we're closing the deal, making the sale when the timing is right. Again, I'm not a sales coach, but I like to talk about what you can be doing in your marketing to make closing that sale easier at the end of the day. So there's a few things that I have listed here. Social proof is one of these things. Sharing testimonials. Maybe those are on your social channels once in a while. Maybe those are on your website. Sharing the testimonials and the results that you achieve for your clients helps other people see themselves working with you. So social proof is really important. Reputation is another one. Where can people be leaving reviews about you? Chances are potential customers are going to go to those places to kind of fact check and look and see, like, oh, what have other people experienced working with this person? What do people have to say? What do Google reviews say? So think about those places where people could be leaving reviews. And if you haven't asked your happy customers in a while to leave you a good review, you should probably do that. The next piece is direct outreach. So oftentimes we think of email follow-ups, phone call follow-ups, depending on your audience and how they like to be communicated with. Maybe it's text messaging, but you can also think about direct messaging on social platforms. Again, it is a way to nurture, but it might also be a way to close a deal. Maybe a client is really not good at responding to you on email, but they live on Facebook and they'll message you back on Facebook any time of day. Who knows? It's going to be different depending on, your clients and your business model. But just think about, different ways that you can be connecting with people. One thing I've been using a lot more this year, because I use LinkedIn for my business, is sending audio messages on LinkedIn. So if you're using the app on your phone for LinkedIn, you have the ability to send an audio message. It's way more personalized. And I find that people are much more likely to respond. They're like, oh, wow, Kristi took time out of her day to send me this personalized audio message. I want to respond to that. So something to think about. So take a moment now, jot some notes about what you're currently doing at the close section of the funnel and what you want to be doing going forward. Stick with me. We're almost through our content here. A couple more slides to go. So aha moments. aha moments everywhere. I have a son. I have a young son. He's obsessed with the Toy Story movies. So I liked this little meme to throw in here. But my hope is that you're having some realizations going through my framework and going through this process. You're really hopefully identifying some areas that you need to be looking at. So here's a quick client case study that I like to share. I worked with an owner of a recruiting agency in Austin, Texas. She was working to grow and expand her business. We really identified big gaps in the convert and nurture stages. She was a rock star at the attract phase. She was doing tons of networking, tons of outreach presentations, all these industry groups that she was a part of. She was getting out in front of business owners. She was doing a ton. But what she realized was she had no way to bring those people in, get their names and email addresses, and then nurture them through email marketing. So those were like two big areas that we really needed to focus on. And then I have, closing the deal. I gave that a yellow, right? If we're rating things on green, red, and yellow, you can only do such good of a job at closing deals if you're not pulling people through that funnel cohesively. So if you're missing the convert and nurture pieces, you're not going to be getting as many people making it to the bottom to give you that opportunity to close the deal. So this is just an example of how it can kind of, play out if you're really thinking critically about your own marketing and how you're bringing people through that journey. So that's everything I had to share with you today. I have my name and my LinkedIn account here, so feel free to reach out. I would love to connect with you. I'd love for you to send me a note and say, hey, I saw your presentation through about marketing for wave season, and really want to touch base, or just follow my content on LinkedIn. I practice what I preach, so I post very regularly on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope you found value in today's session.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of Prep for Wave Week, your marketing day. Today's special guest, you probably already listened to her talk about her marketing, her simple marketing framework, a marketing funnel that I hope broke it down really concisely for you as to what each stage of the funnel really comes down to. I wanted to do some Q&A with her, though, so that we can break it down even a little bit more and answer some specific questions as it relates to the travel industry. So without further ado, welcome live, Kristi Mitchell.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Thank you. And thank you so much for that presentation. I think it's probably one of the most concise that I have seen, at least in the travel industry, to really break down not only like what's in the funnel, but what each level actually contains. So thank you for that.
Of course. I like to keep things simple.
Yes, same, because especially marketing does not have to be an overwhelming thing. Something that I wanted to, I think my favorite question that kind of pops up is where you had said in the attract phase, ads are a form of attraction marketing, but it's not your favorite. It's not like the top that you go to. And I love that because I agree with that. Organic is better. So why do you feel organic? And what's the difference between organic and paid?
Yeah. So for me, organic is that, if we're talking about social media specifically, right? It's like putting out content through your business page, or if you're branding, through yourself, however you're posting, whether it's from yourself or a business page or whatever, it's putting out consistent content that is helpful and relevant to your audience. So it really positions you as that thought leader in your space that people want to keep coming back to you because you provide value. When I think of organic versus paid, organic, I think really helps you build your reputation and, like I said, your thought leadership. And in my mind, why wouldn't you want to explore that to its fullest extent first before you start paying for something? If you can create your own content and do that all within a small budget or zero budget, if you're writing it all yourself, why jump to paid ads right away? Try the organic route first to see how far that can take you. And then I see paid ads as a way to amplify that even further. So if you have, maybe it's a lead magnet that you've been posting on social and it's been going really well from an organic standpoint, maybe you want to put some ad dollars towards boosting that even further to get it in front of more people because it's already performing pretty well with your audience. In my mind, that's a more effective use of ad dollars instead of just, I've had clients come to me and want me to just do paid ads for them. And I'm like, I'm not your person. Like, that's not the type of marketing I'm going to do. I think you need a solid website first. I think you need a solid organic presence on social media first, and then amplify that with the paid efforts. So there are marketers who will disagree with me. That's really how, and I practice what I preach. I'm all about the organic foundation.
Right. And that's also why I kind of purposely put, there is a session on ads, but it's on expansion day. So I purposely put it on expansion because it can expand your reach for your business. But I also feel like it's not one of the first things that you need to be going with. Creating relationships with other people, having that thought leadership should be more at the forefront when you're beginning or trying to restart your business.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is typically when you're paying for an advertisement for something, it's going to be a more salesy message, whether it's this free lead magnet or whether it's come attend this upcoming event or workshop or whatever I have coming. Like, it's a more salesy message. And so I think people are more receptive to that type of messaging if they already know you and have some level of liking you and trusting you. Then they're going to be more likely to say, oh, okay, yeah, I want to buy this thing or sign up for this thing that Rita's offering.
Right. So I also loved where you put that social media is both an attract and nurture method.
Yes.
So what is the difference? So, like, what is the different strategy when you're planning out social media for attract versus for a nurture?
That's a great question. And I don't necessarily seeing it be two different strategies. I think you can have one strategy in place that really accomplishes both goals. And it's funny because when I give this masterclass, if I don't address it, I inevitably have someone at the end be like, why did you put social in both categories and attract and nurture? Like, that doesn't make sense. But in my mind, it really does make sense, because if you are consistently posting on social media, you are going to reach new people, right? Through the hashtags that you're using, through researching other people, following them back, depending on what platform you are. There's different nuances of how to expand your reach.
Right.
But if you're posting consistently and you're following the best practices per platform, you're going to get out in front of new people. That's just kind of a given. The algorithms make it tricky. I'm not saying it's an easy thing. It's not.
Right.
But you're getting out in front of new people. And then you're also, if you're posting consistently, going to be staying in touch with those people who are already following you or connected with you. So I do see it playing a role in that nurture phase as well. And the other aspect of nurture could be, communicating with people in the DMs or responding. It's a huge pet peeve of mine when people comment on somebody's post and they don't respond to the comments. You have to respond. Like, that's a nurture tactic. Like, you're having a conversation with people. It might be in the comments. It might not feel like a conversation, but you really need to think of it as a conversation. Yes. And sometimes I think we forget the social aspect of social media. Like, it's a give and take. It's not just like, I'm going to create all my content and schedule it out, and like, that's done. I checked it off my list. Like, you have to engage with people. So that's really that nurture piece.
Right. And that's, like, I've said this on my social media. I've said this on the podcast many a time. Like, you have to be social on social media. And I think, like, for those people that it's kind of hard, especially utilizing social media to attract, like, the first thing you started talking, I'm like, that's why I love LinkedIn so much, because LinkedIn really works in your favor in so many different avenues. Like, you're putting out your content, positioning yourself as an expert, as a leader in whatever business travel that you're selling. And if somebody in your network comments or likes that, LinkedIn will make that comment or like, or that action visible to somebody that's not in your network. Yes. And so that's where I'm like, LinkedIn is such a hidden gem, like, nobody's talking about it as much as they should be. Because, I mean, I found so many people from things that you have liked or that you have commented on.
Yeah. And to me, that's the unfortunate part of Facebook and Instagram. They used to be like that. The algorithms used to be similar in that way, that if someone likes or comments, it's going to be now shown to their network. So it expands your reach. Unfortunately, from what I've seen, it's just become more of a pay to play model. And so in order to really expand your reach on those platforms, they kind of do force you to eventually pay for ads, because you can only get so far organically, which sucks, quite frankly. Like, it shouldn't be about that. It's it's not great that it is that way, but I think that's why more and more people who understand that difference between those platforms and LinkedIn do gravitate towards LinkedIn, because they're like, oh my gosh, I can like get in front of new people and they're like engaging with me and sending me messages, and like prospective clients are reaching out to me. Like there's just a lot more headway that you can make without having to pay on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've heard the same thing about TikTok, I will say. I don't know from personal experience, but that's what I've heard about TikTok as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still like on the edge. I'm like, every time I'm like, maybe I'll try TikTok, some like news story comes out and I'm like, nope, I'll just stick to my Instagram and my LinkedIn for now. Another tactic that I wanted to talk about was utilizing coffee chats, because that's something else. I mean, that's something that I utilize in both of my businesses. But it's not something that's widely talked about. I actually want to have a podcast episode about this, of coffee chats. But I also wanted to reiterate that coffee chats is not really, you're not selling in a coffee chat. You're really trying to get to know somebody. So how do you utilize coffee chats?
Yeah, I use coffee chats for networking, for meeting other people who could become referral sources for me, or maybe I can refer them business. I always think about like, how can we support each other? In what way could we support each other? And it's not, I never go into a coffee chat thinking I'm going to sell you on my services. That's what my discovery calls are for. And I have different booking links for those reasons. If someone knows that they want to explore working with me, then they're going to book a discovery call. And then we go into it knowing that, and they get asked a different set of questions before we come to that meeting.
I love
when I'm setting up a coffee chat.
Yeah,
it's more that like exploration, like, hey, I'd love to learn more about you. Sometimes I've even used them like if I'm working on a new lead magnet or a blog post. Sometimes I've even used them for like, hey, could I pick your brain? Like as a user in this space, or as a customer of this type of product or service, like, could I just chat with you? I'm trying to gather some more information. Or, if I'm revamping my services and trying to like change up some things to really meet the needs of my market, sometimes I use it in that way too. And most people are like more than willing to just like have that conversation. And it's also like, and how can I serve you? Like, is there someone that I could connect you with in my network that would be helpful to you?
Yeah. And that's where I think in travel business, I think it would be useful to be either partnering with a potential supplier to maybe put on a webinar that can be used as a lead magnet for your own business, or you can partner with a travel coach who coaches clients maybe they coach clients on family travel, and then you would be the person to sell them that family travel package or whatever it is. Or you can do like a family travel symposium or something of the like, and connect with other family travel advisors to create educational content just like this Prep for Wave Week that we're doing here.
Yeah. And the other thing too that just came to mind as you were saying that is like like collaborations on blogs, like for those kind of like partnership opportunities where it could be a referral source for you, offer to write a blog, maybe you come to the coffee chat, like, I had this idea, like, would you be interested in this type of content? Like, I haven't met a person yet who said no to free content that's relevant and makes sense for the space. Like everyone could use more content in their business.
Right.
So I think that those kinds of opportunities exist as well. You just have to be creative and think about how you could work together to benefit each other.
Right. And I'm loving the guest blogging idea also, because I know me personally, I have fallen back on my blogging and my writing this past year. But I feel like that having a guest expert, they write an article, of course, they're going to get credit. There'll be some backlinks to their site. So it's beneficial for them as far as the Google search help. But then it's also beneficial to you because you're getting more keywords, and Google is recognizing that you have new content coming out on your website, which just helps boost everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. What else? Oh, your thoughts on downloadables as a lead magnet? Because there have been, I don't know, I had recently saw something in travel business marketing advertising like a blueprint. So I was like, well, since I'm in this space, let me just open it up and see what kind of value. And it was just a PDF outlining some, like, there was no real tangible stuff, like information in there.
Yeah.
And I feel like more, it's like calendars, calculators, maybe a training with tangible information is more valuable now than just a standard PDF. What do you think?
I think it is becoming increasingly difficult to differentiate yourself with a downloadable PDF of some sort, but I do think you can still do it effectively, and it's really rooted from a place of like doing your research and truly knowing who your target audience is, understanding their pain points and challenges. And I have a whole like process I take my clients through to like really flesh out all of this stuff.
Nice.
But at a high level, it really comes down to like knowing your target audience, what are their challenges, how can you help them with those challenges? Like, take you selling your services off the table for a minute. Like, there'll be a time and place for that. But just at that basic level, what problems do they have and how can you solve for those problems? If you can create a resource to solve their problems, chances are they're going to give you their name and email address for it. So I think a lot of times people jump to some flashy idea that they have or something they think that's going to be really cool. But at the end of the day, if it's not solving a problem for somebody, it's probably not going to resonate.
Right. Right. Love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on for a quick Q&A after your session. If people did want to connect with you and work with you, what are the best ways to do that?
Yes, you can always visit my website. So it's KristiMitchell.com. That's KristiMitchell.com. There's a resource tab, so you can check out some free resources I have. You can also book a discovery call. And then if you want to connect with me and follow my content, I live on LinkedIn. That is my platform of choice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being here. Thank you, travel advisors, for tuning in. Remember, if you purchase a study hall pass, I will see you between 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern for some co-working and collaboration regarding marketing today. Until the next session, bye.